3abn's.org.
Oh, hi! I've just packed a picnic lunch for my family. I bet you're wondering what I put in here. Well, I'll give you a hint. There's no fried chicken in this basket. Grab a pencil and paper and have a seat. I'll be right back. Hi, I'm Cinda Sanner. I'm so glad you've joined us today for Food for Thought. We have a special day planned for you. We're going to go on a picnic. My son David, his favorite sandwich is the veggie burger. Not just any veggie burger. This is a veggie burger that I created years ago, and it doesn't have any eggs in it, and it is no cheese, and it is wonderful. I hope you'll like it as much as David does. He takes it in his lunch at school and eats them cold. I'm going to start with Worthington low-fat vegetarian burger. This is available in most health food stores and grocery stores. And if it is not available in your grocery store, ask them to order it because it is a really good soy veggie burger. I will empty it into my bowl. And you'll want to crumble it up just a little bit to break it up so that we can blend all the other ingredients in the bowl with it. Get it nice and broke up here. This has a wonderful texture to it and a very good flavor. Now, before we go any farther, let's put the recipe up on the screen so that you can write it down. You will need 1 can of Worthington vegetarian burger, 1 large onion diced and sautéed, 2 cups of quick oats, 2 packages of Washington Golden broth, 1 12.3-ounce package of the Mori New firm tofu, 1/4 cup of flour, 1/4 cup of breadcrumbs, and you can use either fresh or dried, 1 tablespoon of Bragg's aminos, and 2 tablespoons of grapeseed oil veganaise. So we'll go ahead and start adding the rest of our ingredients. I like to add my seasonings first to my burger so that it blends evenly. I'm using the G. Washington Golden Seasoning Broth. For those that aren't familiar with it, if you cannot find this, you can use a seasoned salt, such as Veggie-Sal or Lawry salt if you want to do that. If you cannot find this, but this is one of my favorite seasonings. I'm going to sprinkle that around. I'm going to mix this up so that it gets well blended and even before I add the rest of my ingredients. Now, for the onion, I personally saute all the onions that I put in my recipes. I like the flavor of the sauteed onion better. My favorite way to saute onions is I put just a little bit of margarine or olive oil in a big bowl, and I spread them out and dice up the onions, and I put them in the microwave and I cook them in the microwave until they're clear. And I like the flavor of that. So we have already done that. And I put that in and mix that up a little bit. Then there's no order. There really isn't any order for the rest of it. The ingredients, I'll add the oats, the quick oats. I will add some flour and stir that up. Breadcrumbs. I'll add the Bragg's to add a little more flavor. The Mori New tofu. And this you'll need to be careful to break this up because you don't want to have a big chunk of this in your burger. So I just kind of mash it across the top and make sure that it's, because you don't want a big chunk. Can you see that? You do not want a big chunks like that. You want that to be in smaller pieces. because you shouldn't taste the tofu in here, or at least bite into a big chunk. You don't want to, because tofu by itself has no flavor at all. It is flavored by whatever you season it with or what you season it with, which is a wonderful, because you can use tofu. You can hide tofu in all kinds of recipes and no one's going to know, and tofu is so healthy for you. So that is an added plus, that it doesn't have the flavor. It will pick up the flavor of whatever you put it in. Now, I like to add the grapeseed veggies, and I like the flavor of the grapeseed veggies the best. I add just a little bit. It's a good binder for your burgers. Gives it a better texture and helps them to stay together when you saute them. Now, at this stage, if I'm having a backyard party and I'm having a lot of people over, I will make it like this the day ahead of time, and I will put some wrap over the top, and I'll put it in the refrigerator, and then I will fry it up right before we eat. Also, my son, like I said, loves to take this in his lunch, so I make these up ahead of time. I will go ahead and fry all these up, and then I freeze them with the buns, wrap them individually, and then in the morning when he's getting ready for school, he grabs a couple, and knowing David, it's 3, and runs out the door with them, and that's what he has in his lunch. It is all mixed up now, and we're going to fry them. There are some recipes that you bake in the oven. You could do that with this, but there's just some things that need to be sauteed in just a little bit of oil, and this is one of them. And I like to use the light olive oil when I do that, and I'll put just a little bit of oil down in my pan. I'm going to turn the heat up a little bit on this. And then I shape it into a patty with my hand. This is the fun part, guys. I love to cook with my hands. And we'll get a whole pan of them going here. We'll put them in. And depending on the size of the bun that you've chosen, you can make the burgers that, whatever size you want. If you have little buns, you can make them little, and if you have bigger buns, make them bigger. Also, make sure that you don't get them real thick in the middle, because then the middle won't get done, and you'll have the edges nice and brown, and then you'll have this kind of a raw middle to it. You don't want to get it too big. Doesn't this look fun? I actually will make these. I'll make like 40 at a time and keep them in my freezer. And when we go to the lake, or they're always ready for us. In fact, I bet you could come over to my house just about any time and I will have veggie burgers in the freezer. And my sisters know that, and that's the first thing they do when they come to see me. My sister Linda will look in my freezer for my veggie burgers and my meatballs, because she knows I almost always have them in the freezer. Actually, you could fill this pan up with a lot of, I'm going to wipe my hands here because they're a little messy. You can fill this pan up with more, but for the sake of time, I'm going to show you. I take a bun, and if you're serving this right away, this is how you'll want to do it. I put the bun on top, and then it steams the bun while the burger is frying. And if you, but don't do this if you're making them ahead of time and you're going to freeze them, because there's no sense in that. I just put the cold bun on it after the burger has been cooled. And then when it's ready to turn, you can turn it, and then when it's ready to take out, you can just slip the burger right in, and then you can put it on a platter. And I'm going to show you, I've got a whole platter already done for you. See? Doesn't that look good? And it's all ready to wrap up and take on your picnic. This is one of the things that is in my picnic basket. Now, another one of the items that I put in my picnic basket today is hummus roll-ups. And let's put the recipe on the screen for the hummus roll-ups, and we'll share that with you. You will need 3 16-ounce cans of garbanzo beans, 2 teaspoons of garlic minced, 3 tablespoons of lemon juice, 3/4 cup of tahini roasted, 1/4 cup of olive oil, 1 teaspoon of salt or salt to taste, 1 cup of walnuts chopped. This is a very easy recipe, and I want to let you know that it also freezes very well. I'll take the garbanzos and pour them into a large mixing bowl. To this, I will add the tahini. Now, for those who don't know what tahini is, here is your tahini. This is an all-natural, salted and roasted tahini, and it gives a wonderful flavor. In fact, it is pretty much the dominant flavor in hummus. And I'll add this. We'll add our salt, the 2 teaspoons of garlic minced. You can use fresh garlic, or you can use the kind of garlic that is already minced for you in a jar. You'll need 3 tablespoons of fresh lemon juice. If you use the reconstituted lemon juice that comes in a bottle, it just doesn't have the good flavor. So you really need to have fresh squeezed lemon juice. And to get 3 tablespoons of lemon juice, it's about 1 large lemon. That'll give you your 3 tablespoons. We'll add our walnuts and our olive oil. And I'll mix all this up. And we're going to put this in a blender. Better mix it up slow so you don't throw it all over like I'm doing. This, you need to, if you're going to make a large batch of this, you can double it, but you really shouldn't do more than 2 batches at a time. And when you put it into your blender, only blend about half of it, because it just gets too much if you put more than that into your blender. Okay, it would help if I could get this blender off there. And I'm going to spoon half of this into our blender. And you want to blend this up really smooth. There's a lot of things you can do with hummus. If you want to you can serve it with for a light supper with some pita bread wedges, and it makes a wonderful light supper. Okay, let's blend this up. You'll need to stir it up while you're blending it, because you really want it to get smooth. And this is such a thick mixture that it has a really hard time working itself down to the bottom. So you'll just have to be patient with it and keep blending it. When you get it smooth enough, then you can take it out and start with your second batch. But now you can see why you do not want to do the whole big bowl full at one time, because it really has a hard time with it because it's so thick. Now, if it is too thick, go ahead and add just a little bit of water so that it'll blend smoother for you. Let's check that and see if it's smooth enough. I think that looks pretty good. What do you think? You want it to be nice and smooth like this. Let's go ahead and put this in our flour tortilla, and we're going to make our flour tortilla wrap-ups and put this in our picnic basket also. I'll take about that much. You don't want too much because you don't want it too thick. And we'll spread it out. I'll add a little bit of romaine lettuce. And then I'm going to roll it up like this. And there we have our hummus tortilla roll-up. You can wrap this in cellophane or foil and stick it in your picnic basket, or if you're wanting an appetizer for a dinner party, you can slice it this way in little rounds, and it looks really nice to do that. We have one more recipe that I'd like to show you and share with you that is in our picnic basket today. It is a garden tabbouleh salad. You will need 1 cup of bulgur wheat, 1 teaspoon of salt, 2 cups of boiling water, 1 lemon, 1 red bell pepper chopped, 1 16-ounce can of garbanzos rinsed, 1 pint of grape tomatoes cut in half, 1/4 cup of basil or parsley chopped, 1 tablespoon of extra virgin olive oil, 2 cucumbers, 2 cups of cucumbers, chopped, and salt to taste. Now there's a lot of different ways that you can serve this salad. I like to serve it when I'm going on a picnic though in pocket bread, which I'll show you in just a minute. We'll start with our bulgur wheat. You'll need to take your bulgur wheat and it has to sit in boiling water for at least 30 minutes before you can use it in your salad. And according to your, look on your box, because the box of bulgur wheat that I got is the proportions that I gave you, but different brands of bulgur wheat may have a little bit of water variation, so check that when you're making that. I'll put the bulgur wheat in our bowl. And see how fluffy and nice this is? This is a wonderful grain, nice and chewy texture. I'll add 1 teaspoon of salt, which this is already pre-measured for us, so let's use this. I'll add the garbanzos, the diced red pepper. Let's get that all out there. Olive oil, sprinkle over the top. For tabbouleh, you can use, I put there that you can use fresh basil or fresh parsley. To be honest with you, basil is probably my favorite seasoning if you're going to use it fresh. But for the tabbouleh, I really like the fresh parsley taste the best, so I just use the fresh parsley for my tabbouleh. Then I'll add the cucumber. My favorite cucumber is those little pickling cucumbers that you can get. My husband's actually growing them for me this summer so that I can have them, because sometimes they're kind of hard to find. You'll need the juice of 1 lemon. And then I put just a little bit of the lemon peel in it. When you're grating your lemon to get the lemon, they call it lemon zesting, make sure you don't get the white part. You just want to get the yellow part of the lemon, because the white part is bitter and it will not taste good in your recipe. You don't want to use that. So I'm just going to do just a little bit. And when I get down to the white part, then I move the lemon over to another part. See, I'll just kind of stay away from that white part of the skin. And this just gives it a really good fresh flavor. If you don't, you can add all of the lemon rind or just half of it. I like to add all of it because I like the flavor of it. And it tastes really good and fresh. Make sure you always do this over your bowl, because if you don't, it's really hard to get out of another bowl. So I always just take my little grater and grate it right over. That's probably enough. Doesn't have to get all of it. Now I also take a spoon, because a lot of it gets caught inside, and so I'll take a spoon and get the inside out so I can get all of it. And we'll mix this up like this. See how pretty the colors are to this? If you like avocado, which I do, avocado is very good diced into this. And the lemon juice keeps the avocado from turning brown. So you don't have to worry about that. Isn't that beautiful? Now you could, if you're going to have a luncheon at your house, you can serve it just like this. But to make it easy to take on a picnic, I like to take this pocket bread, and I like the whole wheat pocket bread because I love the flavor of it. And I tear it in half, and this particular brand makes it easy for me because it's already perforated. Y'all thought I was really good, huh? I could just tear that in half so even, and I stick the tabbouleh right in the pocket bread like this. And if you want, you can add just a little bit of the Tofutti brand Better Than Sour Cream, and you can put that right on top, and that actually does have a really good flavor. And that makes a really nice sandwich for a picnic. Doesn't that look delicious? Now I made this sandwich without tomatoes. I bet you thought I forgot to add the tomatoes, didn't you? Ha ha, I didn't. Our camera operator here, Chrissy, didn't want tomatoes in hers, so I told her I wouldn't add tomatoes to the first one, so you can eat this, Chrissy, okay? We'll put this on our serving plate. Okay, Chrissy, the very first one is yours. No tomatoes. Now I'll go ahead and I'll add, I've taken grape tomatoes and sliced them in half, and I'll add the grape tomatoes, which I love grape tomatoes. I like them. If you're not familiar with the grape tomato, they're smaller. I think they have a sweeter and a lot better flavor than the cherry tomatoes. So I pretty much use grape tomatoes in instead of cherry tomatoes in all my recipes. Plus, Chrissy, you got to admit, that adds a whole lot more color. I'm going to work on that, girl. Let's get our rest of our sandwiches here and fill up our plate now, because the rest of us are going to eat ours with the cherry tomatoes. Put that on. I'll make a whole platter up here. And like I said, if you're going to pack them in your picnic basket, then you'll want to wrap them individually. Also, something else that you can do is you can put a little bit of lettuce in the bottom of this if you want the lettuce, which makes it look pretty too. But I do like the Tofutti sour cream on top. It just gives it a really nice flavor. Or you can add, like I said, the avocado. Doesn't that look pretty? Let's do a couple more because our plate's looking kind of empty here. And we want it to look nice and full. Now, make sure you don't get these too full. It looks like some of these they're going to have fun eating. You don't want to get it too full. And also you have to be very careful when you're separating the pocket bread because it tears very easy. And then all your filling will fall out of the bottom. Let's do one more. And I think we're just about ready to go on our picnic. There we go. I wish that you could smell all these wonderful smells. The veggie burgers smell wonderful, and so does the hummus and the tabbouleh, and I'm getting hungry. Now, if I went a little too fast with these recipes and you didn't get to write them down, we're going to put an address up where you can write into 3ABN, and we'll be happy to send these recipes to you.
If you've enjoyed the recipes and cooking tips in this program, you'll want to order our Food for Thought resource sheet. We'll tell you how you can order the cookbooks you've seen used on this program, along with other information that will help you cook healthful, attractive vegetarian meals. For your free copy of our Food for Thought resource sheet, please write to us at Food for Thought, P.O. Box 220, West Frankfort, Illinois 62896, or call 618-627-4651.
Now I want to mention, if you are having a veggie burger and you really don't want another sandwich, but you really want to try the hummus, here's one more way that you can serve this and take it on your picnic with you. I take my pita bread and I separate it because it's already perforated. Most of them are. And I cut them in triangles like this. And then separate them like this, and we'll lay them on a cookie sheet. Like this. We'll make a whole basket of these. Then I take an olive oil spray, and I spray each one. At this point, I like to shake just a little bit of cayenne pepper on it, just to give it a little bit of a zest, or you can use a paprika, which is a flavor that is used with the hummus. That's quite a common thing that's used with the hummus. And when you're done you bake these in the oven about 300 degrees for about 15 minutes, but watch them, because with the pocket bread, it's not always the same thickness, and so if it's thinner, it'll burn. So you really need to keep an eye on it and watch it. But when it's crisp and nice, you can take them like this and put them on a platter, and just put your hummus in a bowl. And you can set this right on in your picnic basket. You can cover it with plastic wrap and set it in your picnic basket. With a little basket, you can put another little basket with the pita chips in it and serve it like that. And that way, it's a nice little appetizer for those that are having a veggie burger or a tabbouleh pocket sandwich. And it makes it a little nicer so they can taste everything. Well, I am ready to go on my picnic. I'm ready to load all this good food in my basket, and I know my family's eagerly waiting for me to join them so they can enjoy this good food. We're out of time today, but I'd like to leave you with this thought. The Bible encourages hospitality, so I challenge you to open the door to your heart and your home and invite someone in.